Hi, I'm Megan. Today we're going to collect a fecal sample and then we're going to set up for a fecal float and a fecal direct smear. So the equipment that I need, this is a larger dog that we're going to get this sample from, so I'm going to use a gloved finger to do that. They do make fecal loops, but if just using a fecal loop is not going to give you enough sample to get a really diagnostic float performed. So you may use this in a very small dog, perhaps in a cat, but if you can get your finger to get a sample, that's probably the best thing. I also have my fecal float kit, a cover slip, a microscope slide, just a little bit of saline, and then I have Fecal, which I will use in my float. So I'm gonna just get some lubricant, obviously doesn't need to be sterile, on my finger. And I have obtained, this is a good size sample to do a float and a smear. So I'm going to take my little kit and gather up most of this. And then just using my finger, just put a small amount on the slide. So I'm replacing my gloves. Obviously, anytime you're dealing with feces, you want to keep yourself protected. Plus, it's just gross. So I'm going to add a little bit of saline to my direct. I'll kind of mix things up in here. You just don't want it to dry out on my slide. And then with the Fecal, just going to add some in here and mix it up. This is going to help release any eggs that may be, any parasitic parts. You just want to make sure that you mix things up really well to kind of loosen that up. I'm going to snap this little filter in there and then fill it the rest of the way. You want to get a nice round top on this, the little bit of surface tension, so I don't want it to spill over, but it's got to be, a little bit over the top. And then I'm going to take my cover slip. You can also just take a microscope slide and put it right over there, but balance it right on top. My float needs to set up for 10 minutes, so I'll just kind of take a peek at my watch, and while this is setting up, I'm going to take my direct smear and look at it under the microscope. It's really important to look at both your direct smear and your float to do a diagnostic fecal. So I have my direct sample here, and I only need to look at this under 10 power. Parasites that are, and eggs, anything that you're going to see in a direct fecal smear are going to be visible under 10 power. If you're unsure about something and you want to get a closer look, you can switch to 40, but it's much quicker to scan your entire slide using 10 power. So it's been 10 minutes, so now I'm going to take the cover slip off my little kit there and just put it right on a microscope slide. Then I will take this over. And again, I'm going to examine this under 10 power, just like the direct. And I'm looking for any eggs or anything that looks abnormal in my float sample. And that's how we obtain a fecal sample and set up a float and direct smear.